Welcome to Off Brand by Cocokind. I'm Priscilla Tsai, Cocokind's founder and CEO, and each week I get into the real, unfiltered side of building a brand alongside our community and creating substantive beauty products. We don't believe in trying to be anyone but ourselves, and we don't think you should either. So come along as we get real and imperfect, go deeper on topics most beauty companies won't, and get a bit off brand. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I am recording now. This is our live recording of Off Brand by Cocokind. And of course, with our 10-year anniversary, we really wanted to do a customer focus group, and we want to be able to talk and see and interact with our real customers. So thank you so much for being here. You guys really are our top customers in the Bay Area, and it means a lot to have your support, especially through so many years. I'm hoping that we all here, we have an actual real conversation about our products, our brand, anything. I'm going to ask you questions. I hope you ask me questions. I hope you give me your real thoughts about all the things we do. All of your opinions we truly value, and we want to hear that feedback. And every month we spend a significant amount of time with our customers. I think that sets us apart, and part of that is because I started the business doing demos at Whole Foods, and I really started selling one-to-one and having those conversations with people. And so for me, it's very natural. I don't know how to do anything else, and I know I do social media, but I really need to have that interaction with our customers. I like to know our customers. I like to know our names, and we truly in our marketing team, we refer to our customers on a first name basis. We will truly hear something and we'll be Veronica in Napa told us XYZ, or I remember I was talking about with our product team the other day how Kristen in Napa was talking about how our Resurrection polypeptide cream came to her leaked. These are really important things that we take, and sometimes it can be something really small that you say that you don't even realize has a huge impact on us, or something that you think might be a very simple ask. So I'll be well, let me tell you all the things as why we can't do that, or it might be really complicated, but we really do take all the little and kind of big things seriously. So that's kind of the focus of today's podcast. I would imagine just with this intimate group here today, you represent our community, and I bet you there are thousands and thousands of people who probably have that same question as you, or might have that same thought as you or experience as you. So I think even though it's a small group here, which we are really intentional about because we want it to feel comfortable to talk and have a conversation, I think it's going to be relevant for all the hundreds of thousands of people in our community. So thank you all for being here. Okay, cool. So the first thing that I'd love to dig into is, again, how did you learn about Cocokind and when?
Hi, I'm Veronica, and I am from the East Bay in California. I learned about Cocokind in 2016, so this is coming up to my 10-year anniversary next year, which I'm excited about.
Yeah!
But I actually found Cocokind through just it was Whole Foods. I was walking into Whole Foods because that's my favorite store.
Yeah.
I saw it and I go, oh wow, I really like the ingredients in here and this is really cool. And then I started following Cocokind and thought, wow, this is the rosewater tonic really is what sold me, and it started balancing out my skin, that pH. I started to fall in love with skincare after that point. And so it just became this revolution for me because I grew up with acne. I grew up just with, skin problems as a whole. And in my adulthood, I realized this is truly a magical experience for me, because it wasn't only just about the skincare. It was about also feeling and finding something that was not harsh on my skin either, which was really important for me at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel we share so much of that story of just feeling everything we were using was so harsh, and then to have something that's gentle but also still effective, good for acne prone skin was, a huge part of my story too. Yeah, amazing.
Hi, I'm Erin. I live in the Richmond in San Francisco, and I found out about Cocokind in 2017, so a long time ago, and it was one of my coworkers. I'd been telling her that I've been really struggling with acne, and she was oh my God, I use this product, Cocokind, and it was the turmeric stick.
Yeah.
And that with, I forgot the name of the face mask, the green one.
Oh, the chlorophyll mask.
The chlorophyll mask. Yeah. Yep, she was that's the combo I use. I use the turmeric stick, and then I put the chlorophyll mask over it, and I was done. And I ordered it that night, and I started doing it religiously, and then I was wait, I love all of these products. and just started from there.
Amazing. Thank you.
My name is Valerie. I'm from San Francisco as well, and I'm newer to the brand actually. I think it's been 2 years since I've known about Cocokind, and introduced really just by my friends, but also just by chance seeing it in Whole Foods, and I was really drawn to the packaging for the fact that it was just very simple. And for me, I've never been super into skincare. I never really knew like what goes with what. And this was just the first brand that really was very simple. Like in terms of like, you do this, this, and this. And if you can't do all that, at least just do this. And so for me, that was like revolutionary because I was so like intimidated by like toner, like all these things like from other brands. And so this was just like such a good wake-up call for me, and very proud to be part of like the first Kindness Collective group. So it's just been such a great experience like the last first part of this year, and just really excited to see where the brand continues to grow.
Thank you. I love that. We're still, I feel like, constantly trying to improve on making it even more simple, because we feel like skincare is just, no matter what way you look at it, it is so ridiculously complicated. So it's like every year, every month, we're just trying to figure out like, that's too complicated. How do we make this feel more simple for people? Because that really is like half the battle, is making it something that people can understand.
I'm Heather Munn from San Francisco, and I was trying to remember where I first saw Cocokind. I thought it was Whole Foods Noe Valley, but then I was like, maybe that had to be after I bought it on the website. Yeah. So I think it's probably like since 2017, 2018. And I also remember there was a vegan blogger called Edgar Raw.
Yes.
I think. And
I love Edgar.
I'm vegan,
yeah.
and I used to follow that. So I don't remember if I heard about it through there or I just happened to see it like early on, like, oh, that brand is also there. And I think I'm very much a brand loyalist. I transferred over from like 15 years of using like Aveda to Cocokind since, and I haven't looked back, and I don't use any other skincare products.
And you were saying it's within 2 generations because you have all your kids hooked too.
Yes. So I have 3 kids, a daughter and 2 sons. The older 2 are in college, and then a high schooler. And I was telling Priscilla a couple of minutes ago that I buy a lot of, we have a Cocokind stash. I have my backup drawer, and then in the bathroom.
Isn't that amazing?
So all these kids, and particularly my son's friends over the years, they would, be staying over and use the face wash or the skincare, and their skin would clear.
Yeah.
And some of them were on had gone to the dermatologist and had prescription, and all of a sudden they were like, what is the face wash that your mom has? Or does she have something for this? And it's so funny because I'm like, 1 minute I might, and here's one to take home. And so, it's just, it really works. Like unintentionally, like we are kind of a focus group in my house of people that have come through. And my daughter, now has her roommates and friends using it. My son will take it back to school with him in the fall. So
that's so awesome. Grateful. Yeah, I love that. That's so awesome.
So my name is Emily, and I'm from the Peninsula Bay Area. I first discovered Cocokind actually from a friend who had gifted me a few of the products. One of them being the silk SPF, the turmeric illuminating solution, and the celery moisturizer. And I was really intrigued. Well, this was during the pandemic in 2020, so I was kind of just getting into skincare, and I tried those products out, and I was really drawn to the packaging as well because of the simple ingredients and the steps in which you apply each of the products. And I looked up the brand Cocokind, and I was really interested in the brand values and I got interested in the other products, and then I started buying more from there.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm from San Francisco, and I got introduced to Cocokind through Rachel Godey.
Love Rachel.
She really influenced me to get the matcha stick, and during COVID times, my hands were getting really dry, my face was getting really dry with the mask, and just putting that all over under the mask really made a difference in making sure that I wasn't getting any acne, and my hands were staying really hydrated. And I just spiraled from there. I looked at the ingredients. I'm a chemist, so I love reading the information of the ingredients and what they do and how they help and how they work together. And just reading through how thoughtful the formulations are for Cocokind. It just inspired me to get more of the products and try them out. And there's so many benefits at such a good price. It's incredible that you're able to provide these products for people at that price. So I really, really enjoyed them.
I'm Emily. I'm from Alameda, California. And I first found out about Cocokind around 2015 or 16. I was a freshman in college, and my sister came and brought me like the matcha stick and the turmeric stick. And like as a freshman in college, I was just learning how to like take care of my skin, like be on my own. A lot of acne, a lot of rosacea, and so she really was like, I feel like you really like this. And so ever since then, she and I have just kind of like always been Cocokind loyalists. So shout out to my sister for that one.
What's her name?
Leslie. Yeah, and so it's just been really great, just like seeing the brand kind of like grow and develop, and just like everybody's been saying, I love all the products so much. My partner, who's like not a skincare enthusiast, Cocokind is like the Kleenex of our house, or like any product is like the Cocokind one, regardless if it is or not. Like we'll go on vacation, and he's like, "Oh, you've packed your Cocokind, right?" And I was like, "Yeah."
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so just happy to be here and just love hearing everyone's stories.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey, my name is Nensha. I live in Oakland, California. I learned about Cocokind in at the spring of 2022, I think. I ordered from another website, Grove Collaborative, and they offered, they offer samples whenever every time you order, and I got samples of Cocokind, the ceramide barrier cream. And I remember I was like walking off the bus, and I passed like the Ritz-Carlton on like, I think it's on Market, and my skin was like glowing, and I was like, I had to do a double take. And literally immediately I was like, I'm gonna buy more of this product and see what it's about. And so I ended up buying the celery moisturizer and I think something else, and I've been hooked ever since, and it's been really, really great. And I also love the packaging. I'm super big on reading everything, and I love reading all like the recycling elements of it and what everything means. And it's really cool when I buy all the serums. I get to use those for my students whenever I treat them with like different fine motor activities at the school. So I like to reuse the items, but also make sure that I'm giving or putting it back to the earth in the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that like goes into my next question, which is really like when you look at our packaging and all the information, one of the things that we've truly debated over the past year, I would say, is like, is it too much? You know, like we are talking about packaging updates, and they actually take a long time for us to roll through packaging updates, but you all have boxes in front of you, and I'm curious, like when you look at this, what do you feel like stands out to you as like something you understand, or you look at it and you're like, that doesn't really do anything for me? Because one of the things we updated recently is like we got feedback from, you know, people when we did that Instagram post that basically like the title was too small. So it's like people have to like lean in too much, and so we made that bigger. We also are making the sentence underneath the product name a little bit more simple too. But the formula facts and the sustainability facts, we love it. We put so much work into that every year. But to be honest, I don't know if people get what we're intending to, or if it's useful, or if it ends up feeling kind of just like information that is empty for the consumer, you know, and just doesn't really mean anything.
Personally, I read all of it. I love, again, the sustainability elements. I just read through it and figure out, okay, what elements can I recycle, what elements can I not, and like what do all these ingredients mean, how much of them are in the product that are important for me to care about. Potentially there is a lot of wording here, but I just like to read the different things. And one thing though that I was also confused about was like when you open it up, before it used to have like a QR code for being part of the, I guess it still does. Yeah, I guess, and I never really like attended to that part personally, but everything else I thought was really beneficial.
I have two things. The first one is I love recycling. I think it's a big thing that we all need to continue to impart on our children, on our everyone that we know, because it's so important for our environment, and it's something that we can do for our part. The how to recycle part, I think, could be at the bottom of here, just bigger, so that we could see it where it is.
Right.
Because I actually have never even noticed that's where the how to recycle is.
Right.
I went to the recycling demonstration that Cocokind had,
Oh,
so I knew
right.
how to recycle.
Yeah, totally.
But if I was just looking at this, I wouldn't have seen it. So I would say probably putting it under there. And then the other part is like the calculated as of. I'm not really sure what that even means.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, what does that do for me? Does that mean it was made on that date? Does that mean that I need to, and that's what I'm assuming, but like, is there an expiration date? Like, I think that's more what I try to look for is like, when is this good until? So that way, you know, because not like I wouldn't be using up all of my Cocokind anyways before it expired, but you know, it's just like, I think that would be helpful just to understand how I could use it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good to even think that people get that mixed up with the expiration date, because that's actually, so what that means is that's the last time we updated the carbon emissions calculation, actually. So it has not, it has nothing to do with, but that's really good clarification, because we don't want people seeing that and being like, oh, this product is
Expired.
You know, 11 months old if we just made it, you know. And we do regular yearly updates on what that carbon emission is per product, because it changes. It's like a living, breathing thing based on, you know, everything. So that's actually when that date is, and it's actually on cosmetic products, except for OTC products. So you guys know all of our products are considered cosmetics, except for our SPFs and our acne products. Those are considered over-the-counter products. And over-the-counter products, you will have an expiration date on them. But if you're talking about just these cosmetic products, there is no expiration date on them. And so there's a lot code system where if you ever want to know, there's technically not an expiration date, but we test it over like almost all of our products have a 2 or 3-year shelf life, basically. So that's something where it's technically there's no like expiration per se, and we test it for stability at least for 2 years or 3 years. However, you know, if you ever wanted to know like when was this made, then you could email us and give us the lot code information.
I hate to say this.
Say it.
I don't read as many of the facts about the sustainability at all. And I don't necessarily I don't recycle the packaging. I throw it away. Which, sorry.
I just silent. Okay, Veronica, hold it together. No judgment, okay? We listen and we don't judge.
But so for someone like me who's not paying as much attention to that, but is I'm more interested in how it smells, how it feels on my skin, where this should be layered in my routine. I don't know where this goes. I put it on first. I'm holding the ceramide barrier serum. I put it on first. I don't actually know if that's where, is it the smallest molecule? Because I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to go. It's smallest to biggest, I think. Yeah. But that information would be helpful for me, because I go through phases where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use 4 products. I need to hone in. I need to, I need to just hone in on my skincare routine. And then I always end up, ordering. I have probably 15 right now, but I don't know where to put them into my skincare routine. So it's not to say that on every box you could put where everything goes in the skincare routine, but that information would be really helpful for me. I'm also curious to know, it's English and French on here. What was the decision to do English and French versus a different language?
Yeah, so we only sell currently to United States and Canada. Gotcha. And in some areas of Canada, you need to have French language on there. So that's also, we have a couple options. We can either have 2 totally separate products, 2 UPC codes. So that means we have a United States version of ceramide serum with a 1 UPC code, and we have another totally different product with French labeling, right? For Canada, totally different UPC product, but that is way too hard for us to manage because it's the exact same product. Then you have to print 2 different packaging. Sometimes you have to split production. It's such a disaster, So we actually, the trade-off is that it looks crowded. We have that, sometimes we're always like, are we selling this in Canada? And we love our Canadians, but the French does, it does make the packaging quite crowded sometimes, and so we do have to make that trade-off. But sometimes you'll see companies have like a sticker label, and it's kind of like peel off, and then that's where all the French is too.
Yeah.
But for us, that adds a lot of cost too, because you have to not only pay for that, but then you have to pay for the labor for that. So it just ends up building like all these unnecessary costs. So that's why we try to fit everything in on one package, one product between US and Canada, but it just ends up being a little bit more crowded. We have to have that trade-off. In terms of where something fits in the routine, that is truly one of the most commonly asked questions we get, no matter what we launch, when we launch it, however we launch it. Like, it is truly like, but where do I use this in my routine? I always think, yes, it's impossible to like look at all the 15 products that you own and be like, okay, this, and this, and have like hard and fast rules. So I always like to teach just like philosophies, which for us it is like, most people go by like thinnest to thickest, which sometimes, most of the time, 90% of the time, that's what the way that you should look at it. Sometimes there's like exceptions, which is why like skincare is so annoying, because then they'll be like, oh, but like do this instead of that. And like your retinol might be a little bit thicker than your serum, but like retinol is supposed to go first. Unless you're trying to buffer it, then put the retinol after. Like, it is so confusing. It even like sometimes the things coming out of my mouth, I'm like annoyed at myself because I have like so many exceptions and stuff like that. But generally that's how it is. It's like the more watery something is, the earlier you should put it on in your skincare routine. Because basically if you're trying to apply, like let's say you're trying to apply a retinol and you're like trying to get the most benefits of that retinol as possible, if you were to apply the ceramide serum and the water cream after, and then you do the retinol, you're like buffering. You know what I mean? And some people want that buffer. Some people want that buffer, and some people don't. But like, if you want whatever's like doing the most amount of work to get to your skin as like raw as possible. I don't know if raw is the best way to say it. Like, I don't want anybody having raw skin here, but you guys get what I mean. Like, I want like after cleansing, and of course cleanse, first, because you always want to put like any leave-on product on your skin after it's like fully clean, but it gets really confusing. But thinnest to thickest is how we think about it. But I will say that that's also one of the updates we made, and you'll start seeing that rolling out on the top of the packaging instead of this, because this now that says formula facts and sustainability facts, that will now be on the side, I think. Or maybe we got rid of it. No, we got rid of it on the top. And then instead, we on the top will have like the steps. So it'll say cleanser, toner, serum. Serum will be highlighted. And then it'll say moisturizer, SPF. So now it's going to have that on every product. But like I said, like we just rolled out our Calming Magnesium Mist that just launched, right? And on the back of it, this is where I'm like, oh my God, it's like everything has an exception, because of course, we had to choose a category. It's most likely to fall in the toner category because it's a mist. Most people are going to use it as that step, like right after cleansing, you spray the mist all over. But at the same time, like you can use that product after you put on makeup. You can use it really through any step that you want. So that's where there's like always exceptions, but we're trying to make it more simple because it can be so complicated. And I feel like, I don't know, like it seems like how to use something is sometimes like the biggest barrier of entering a new skincare brand or trying a product. Do you feel like that's the case?
So I think it can be a barrier. Like, I'll buy anything shamelessly, but it's the barrier when I'm just like, well, what night of the week should I use this? I fall into that with the chlorophyll serum where I have it and I think I like it and my skin is red and I want to use it, but I'm just like, bah, but like, where does it fall in? Okay. I don't know. And so I end up not using it until I'm like, nope, I gotta be using that black serum. Right. This one's helpful for me. And so like, that's where it becomes really challenging, is like the second purchase almost. Not the first, because I'm like, oh, great.
Right. I'll try it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, for all of our products, we have this saying, a little bit often. So the actives that we use, like, they are meant to be used every day. They're meant to be, instead of having, some crazy percent of an ingredient that you might have to be like, oh, I use this on a Monday, today's Wednesday, can I use it? Or I have to keep track. Like, they're meant to be used every day, and in a way that like still has a lot of efficacy, but won't, kind of react with your skin, or you don't have to like be so methodical about it. So something like the chlorophyll serum, it's just truly like the more you use it, the more you'll see benefits,
I think just to add to that, I think it's also difficult to educate people on like what ingredients not to mix and what ingredients may make your skin more sensitive, so it would be recommended to like apply SPF, or it would be recommended to only use at night, for example. So maybe if you do have products that you recommend only at night, you could put like a little moon icon or something, or a sun icon of you can use it both, or you can use it just at night or during the day.
Yeah, totally. And I think for that, and that's really good advice, because I have to check to see our retinol. I'm pretty sure on the directions we say in the PM, but having a moon would obviously make it really clear for people when you first look at a product. Are there any products that you wish that we could develop, or are there any product decisions that you're like, can you explain this? You know, whether we change something, we discontinue something, or we launch something. Like, I'm curious if any of you have any questions.
So much SPF. I was wondering if you guys were gonna do like a roll-on SPF, and then another that's just not related. But I was like, for the retinol, how come it has to be in like a foil
aluminum tube?
Because it's kind of hard to squeeze every last bit of it.
Yeah, for the retinol, we put it in an aluminum tube. One, we really wanted to try that material because it is an interesting material from a sustainability standpoint. But although we recently were talking about just doing the carbon emission analysis, and it actually takes up more carbon emissions than, you know, post-consumer recycled plastic actually. But we really wanted to try, you know, incorporating a new material in our two products. Plus, retinol is a very sensitive ingredient where you kind of want to limit as much air in a tube as possible. And so, you know, it's kind of, especially at the end, I totally get it. It gets really stiff to work through. Yeah. But it also, because of the material, it limits any air really in the tube. So kind of keeps the retinol as fresh as possible. And then your, the SPF stick. So yeah, I think we were talking about that today. I think we, like with all things SPF, like it's just trying to figure out, like there's so many SPFs on the market, and we were actually talking about potentially doing like more of like a water-based stick. You know how a lot of the sticks right now are they're like oily, you know, they're like oil-based sticks. So trying to do something that kind of, I don't know if you've ever tried like a serum stick that's kind of water-based, but that's where it's like very light. So thinking about that, especially for people like on the go, or like, you know, wanting to touch up on SPF in the middle of the day or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely on our radar.
Can we do a poll?
Yeah, do you want to do a poll?
Okay, so out of curiosity, what is your favorite SPF format? Do you like a milky one? Do you like a gel one?
Right.
Do you like a stick? Do you like I'd love to hear from the group what your favorite SPF format is.
So maybe I'll give you options. Just raise I guess we'll raise hands if you like. Okay, so should we do like this or that? Let's do this or that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's do gel cream or like milky, you know what I mean? Like the milky textures, milky fluid, like, you know, so gel cream or milky fluid. Raise your hand if you like a gel cream SPF. Okay, we have 4. Okay, and then milky fluid. Okay, we have 6.
Okay.
What is Maria? What's your favorite?
Milky fluid. I also think with the water-based roll-on that it would help a lot with sensitive skin girlies. So any roll-on SPF I've used, pimples immediately.
Yeah, that's
so
exactly.
that sounds much better to me.
That's exactly what I was saying. The oil-based SPF sticks, they make me immediately break out. But I love them. Like I feel like in the moment, I'm like, this is amazing, and then like
so glowy.
Totally. And then an hour later, I'm like, I can literally feel the congestion.
Maybe this is just me, but I'm originally from Texas. I moved to San Francisco, and the sun here just hits harder.
Yeah.
So I've been looking for like a powder SPF that I can put on my
your
hairline.
scalp. Yeah.
So if you could develop it, that'd be amazing. Because there's nothing out there.
I had a hairline burn a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It is a thing. Yeah.
So also SPF, because I'm very much an SPF girly. I don't know if you guys, it would be ever a conversation of like developing a powder. I don't know if you've seen it, and I feel like with you doing the lip gloss shenanigans, it's more like, oh, we're blending now skincare with beauty, we're transitioning into beauty too.
Yeah.
And a format of SPF that I really, really like is like, it's like a stick. It comes with a little brush. It kind of looks like makeup, but it comes with powder inside.
Yeah.
And I run like half marathons, whatever, so like low time in the sun, and that's what I put on my scalp to not burn.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe because I feel like also you can do like different colors because it kind of is like a powder, so you know, for different ranges.
Totally.
But that's my favorite kind of SPF.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
to reapply at least.
Yeah, totally.
Right, I love the highlighter duo. I think it's a really cool product. I have it on now.
I could tell.
I have both of them on too. I'm curious, like, what was your desire to create that as a beauty product, but also do you intend on introducing more?
Yeah. So the highlighters were first developed, I want to say like 2018. It was like pretty early on or something, 2018, 2019. And we wanted to kind of develop our sticks into something that, had more of a makeup payoff. And it was this like, we like glowy skin. We want something simple. We don't want, like, you know, the highlighters that you have to use a brush to apply can be, I don't know, if you're not like super used to it or you are just in a rush or something, it can be a lot. So part of it was like, let's do highlighter sticks that are just like very easy to use and you can like use your fingers or just apply it. And anyways, we ended up discontinuing them and then we relaunched them last year. So I don't know if you saw that, but we basically had them on our website. I don't think we ever, at one point they were at Target actually. And then they actually didn't sell that well when we were with our original format. And part of the issue is because it was the biggest highlighter you have ever seen. And we didn't realize this. Like, it was like, we're like, yeah, that's amazing. Like, these other highlighters are like 3 grams or 4 grams, and we're out here 15 grams, 15. And so what happened was, like, everybody's like hitting us up 7 years later. No, there's like literally like 4 years later, like, hey, where are the highlighter sticks? I'm trying to buy them now. And I'm like, girl, like, we needed you like literally 3 years ago, right? Like, it took forever for people to get through them. And by the way, they still take forever to get through. Like, they really still do. So anyways, we improved the packaging and we relaunched them on our website last holiday. And they're just like much cuter, much better packaging. And I think we're always interested in, like, when it comes to the makeup world, if you see I think there's like a little bit of a challenge, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But when you look at our retail world of Target and Ulta, we are in the skincare section, and then there's a very different section for makeup, right? So, but that just means that, like, which makes sense for us, everything, they've actually been pretty good about being like, if it's got skincare benefits, which our highlighters did, that you can put them in stores or the lip products or wherever, as long as it is like mostly a skincare product, then you can have it in your set. But let's say we were to do a 20 shade foundation, like that would not be able to be in our set. Like we'd have to go to a totally different buyer, almost like start off as like a new brand in a brand new category. So it's actually kind of difficult for us to do this, especially at this, kind of juncture where we are growing so much in skincare and we have a lot to do. So it's kind of hard to, like, anything you do in that world totally distracts from what you do in this world too. So, but we're very excited to kind of inch towards that direction. So next year, this is like the first time in my life I haven't said anything. Maria's giving me the duster right now. But like I like, it's like next year we are launching something that is a little bit more in that world, but it's like so exciting and so new and it's so different that like I can't say it right now. But it's
although you want to.
Yeah. But maybe we'll have we are going to work on a community testing program for it with an NDA. So like at some point, there's definitely going to be community testing actually in the next couple of months here for it. It's not launching for, a while here. But anyway, so we are going to be inching more in that direction because we think that there's a lot of, people like me who are like, I don't use like a million, makeup products and I don't know how to. It's not even, I don't know how, it's like I just don't have the time to like do a lot of, different steps of makeup. So just if I can simplify it with my skincare, and I'm also someone who's like very acne prone, so I'm very sensitive to like, I don't want to use like this and that and this on my skin. It just feels like a lot and anything could break me out. So I like to keep it simple. And I think there are a lot of people who could benefit from that. And we certainly get a lot of questions of people asking us like, when are you going to launch makeup, but part of it is a business reason. We're just a skincare company, and at our retailer presence, we are very much a skincare company. And part of it is just kind of like making sure we're fully developing within the skincare world before we go, dedicate so much resources to doing something. And we'd have to really build, such a different competency as a company. And, I have a lot of respect for like color cosmetic companies because they, it is different expertise. Like we're talking about deep research of like skincare ingredients and actives and clinical, stuff like that. It's very different than being like, we have, 20 shades of a blush, right? Like to me right now, I would see pink, or I'd see red, like it's not something that right now, I know Maria and our product development team, they have much more experience in that than I do, but I think it's just not as natural right now to be like deep in cosmetics. Yeah.
Thanks for breaking that.
Yeah.
Do you see it in the cards for the future to have a sister brand to Cocokind to focus on cosmetics or hair care or things that might not be necessarily skincare, but are still rooted within what Cocokind does?
I think we would do it within Cocokind. It's like we have a long life ahead of us. So like it's just because we're not going to do it in 2 years doesn't mean we can't do it in, whatever amount of years. And I think any of that, not to say like never, but there's so much, I think like so much is possible within the Cocokind world, but it's also just like we always have to balance, like, I don't know, there's just so much like time and resources that go into different directions. I don't know if you guys know this, but like a couple years ago, we actually had fully developed shampoo and conditioner. And it was like packaging bought, like that's why we have so many of those freaking bottles. Packaging bought, like labels bought, formula tested, everything. And like we're right about to produce it. And very last minute I said, like, let's not do this because it was only one shampoo, one conditioner. And, it was like, there are so many people asking us to do hair care, but it's like, is this really going to be the most like comprehensive, like representation of what we could do? And is it smart for us long term? And then the answer was like, not quite yet. Like we have to do so much more. It has to be so much deeper than like just like one shampoo, one conditioner to start. And just felt like that wouldn't be the right way to enter like a huge category that, there's obviously companies that dedicate their whole 24/7 to hair care. So it just felt too early. So we actually canceled that like last minute. And we still have a lot of bottles.
Can I ask a question? What about scrubs? I mean, this is sort of a curious why.
Yeah.
One, we're huge fans of the coffee scrub, which I think is gone.
RIP,
and then the other one was the face sea moss.
Exfoliator, yeah.
That was magic.
Yeah.
Like that, and so different than any other product. What happened to those?
Yeah, sad. Okay, two very different stories. Sea moss exfoliator was discontinued because it's a powder product, and I'm actually going to do like a post soon on the formula and just kind of put it out there because it's only 3 ingredients. We had grapeseed flour. It was an upcycled grapeseed flour from a winery. We had sea moss, and then we had geranium oil. And anyways, that powder products were something like physically we were doing, ourselves here in San Francisco. And like, if you were to see the production of that, I mean, it's like we were wearing masks, we had spoons, and you saw that bottle, right? The bottle had a really thin neck, which like, what in the world was I thinking? But it's because it's a cleanser, so it was like, it was for the ease of use for you, it was easier because it had a small neck versus our chlorophyll mask, right? Which was like a jar that you would, scoop into your hands. But for a cleanser, we were like, no, it has to be a small neck for it to come out. Anyways, we literally would funnel it into these bottles, and then it would have to do like 1 spoon at a time funneling into these bottles. So we could truly only make like, I don't know, maybe like 100 for like, it would be like 1 every 5 minutes, 4 minutes. It really was like a very low production unit thing, and that worked for a while until it didn't, until we grew, and it was like, this is taking up a ton of resources, and it was also something that, we just couldn't sustain like doing that volume. Or if you asked me if we could 10 times that volume, I would say no, because we'd have to become like a powder company, and it actually was really hard to find. There are not a lot of powder, like loose powder skincare companies, skincare products out there for a reason. It's just very hard to find powder manufacturers and powder fillers. So we just couldn't produce it long term. And then the coffee scrub, there's two reasons. One, it was because we had an upcycled coffee that we used, and that source of upcycled coffee grounds completely shut down actually. So then it was like we would have to relaunch it as like not a upcycled thing. And it's actually kind of hard for like how fine it was. Like it was not an easy thing to source. And the second was the volume was really low. Our sales volume was actually really low of that product. I mean, people who used it, like I did, like loved it, but it was also something that was not something that our retailers were interested in. Let's say a product has 15 ingredients, like we have to manage like the supply chain of every single one of those ingredients. If an ingredient supplier discontinues it, which actually happens frequently, we have to like completely resource that. And if it's as big as like literally the coffee and the coffee scrub, it was like a pretty big deal for us to be like the main ingredient in this product is no longer available to us. So like, we have to like basically completely rebuild the product, and because the product wasn't doing that well, it just didn't make sense.
Would you guys ever do like refills? Like I feel like I'm always rebuying the ceramide barrier cream.
Yeah.
And I feel like even when I get the biggest one, it's like I don't know if it's like possible with the packaging or if there's something else about that, but
yeah, it's a good question. And I talked about this recently on TikTok on this one video, and I think refills is like always like we would love to do refills. And it's something that makes a lot of sense for a brand. We know our customers would buy them, and we know that it's aligned with our values and being, environmentally conscious. The actual implementation of refills is really tricky for a couple reasons. So one, our retailers wouldn't stock refills. They're not going to have ceramide serum. I mean, actually, Ulta was very surprising, but they actually decided to put the jumbo ceramide serum on the shelf. But that's like Target actually rejected. The Target said no to that. So because they're like, well, we have thousands of products that we have to manage on the shelf to have two of your products and one that's like going to move slower, right? Because it's more expensive because we have more in it than your original product. Like for most retailers, they're not going to dedicate shelf space to that, and so the refills actually, you have to be, kind of a brand that's selling like crazy for them to even consider that. And then the second thing is with refills, the MOQs, the minimum quantity to produce a refill is actually the same as a full-size product. So let's say we're doing a refill of that. Like what's your ideal size of a refill? Is it like 3 times or 4 times amount?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So the minimum quantity of that production, a lot of times, is going to be the same as the full size. But so now, we're talking about it has to be 3 times. It's almost like, it's like 3 times your purchases. So you buy that 3 times or you buy 1 of that, but we have to buy the same amount. And then what happens is that we don't have our retailer commitments. We don't have our retailer distribution. And then it only ends up being on Cocokind.com. And we have a good business on Cocokind.com, but it's not the majority of our business. And our retailer business is growing much more. So then we end up having a lot, it's just, we don't have the demand to meet the minimum quantity there. And then not only that, then that impacts the performance of the regular size at our retailers. And then they could take it off the shelves. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's actually like, when I see companies do that, I know that it's either an extremely high volume, product, or, the retailer has given them shelf space for many different reasons to do that. Right now, it's not something that's totally in our ability, but it depends on the products. Like the jumbo ceramide serum was a really good first step. I could see it happening for other types of products, but it really, like maybe for like a cleanser, maybe the magnesium mist, that could work maybe one day, like where it's easy to refill and doesn't put a lot of like burden on the consumer. But if any of you have our ceramide body oil stick or our KP stick, yeah, you'll notice there's a lot of nuts. You'll notice that those are in refillable packaging. But we have not gotten to a point where we can actually make the refill and the full size and sustain both products. So we have to sustain both products. It's a totally different product, Like our team has a full demand planning for the refill. We manage it as a company as a just totally different product, and we have not gotten to that point yet. So we're like ready. Whatever. So if you guys want to tell your friends about those body products, that'd be great. But the minimum quantity just for that component is 25,000 units or something like that. It's crazy. And so it's just like we, even dealing with the 25,000 units just for our, non-refill unit is a lot for us to handle. So it's definitely in our future. It's It's just we are, I think when we were a younger company, we probably would have pulled the trigger and we would have immediately made that. And now I think we've been burned a couple of times, too many times, that we're like a little bit more cautious about that, because we know that if we don't sell it, then it ends up being waste. All those products come off the shelf, stuff like that. So I think we're a little bit more cautious until we have, clear demand. Our retailers are bought in. I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of, when and what product makes the most sense.
This may have the same issues as like shampoo or makeup, but would you all ever do a deodorant as skincare?
Yeah, so deodorant it's one of our most requested products. Like, so many people ask us for a deodorant. The challenge that we have with the deodorant is actually not, there's a little bit of like we have a different category and it would be in a totally different area of the store. But actually the biggest issue for us when it comes to deodorant is the cost of the product versus the price point. We really are intentional about, what we're investing in to make sure that like we can offer at a really competitive price point for what you're getting, right? And with a deodorant, imagine us applying our formulation philosophy to a deodorant. The cost would at least be like 3 times more expensive than everything else on the market. People are used to paying like I'm actually not a deodorant consumer, but like how much do you guys spend on deodorant right now?
I spend $20.
Really? Okay, well we could make a deodorant, but like
I'll buy anything. Mine is 13.
13?
I think mine's like 15. Any clean is usually 15.
Okay, people are saying $15. I mean, it's just like some people are used to paying $5 or $6, and we came out with a $15 deodorant at Target. Like, it would be very hard for us. But I don't know. All of you are saying you spend $15, $20 on.
And I think part of the challenge is that like other natural deodorants, like, because that's what I'm using is natural deodorants, and I pay $20 per thing. They're not refillable, but they could be another thing that in my mind could be refillable. And you can't buy them in stores. So like even Native, I'm pretty sure they were acquired. I don't necessarily know if their ingredients are as clean as they were when they initially were bought, but like I then just have to order them online. I can't pick it up in Target, and I would spend $20 at Target or at Whole Foods for the convenience of being able to get the natural deodorant that I want, like in a location that I'm already in.
So you're saying distribution is a problem for you, like meaning you can't get that product easily, right?
I can get it easily, but I'm trying to support Amazon less.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the easiest place to get it. So I can get it overnight, but I would prefer to buy it from you in Target. I would also say I'm spending $20, and usually the deodorant doesn't work that well. So I'm spending a lot of money. The new one I'm trying out, let me know if it's
we are in a small room.
it's like you're spending a lot of money for something that isn't skincare.
Yeah.
And I think deodorant, in theory, in my mind, could be skincare.
Yeah.
So she will drop a lot of money on
that's historically been our issue. Is like we don't want to come in and be like 3 times the price of like everybody else on the shelf, because that's not our brand philosophy, right? We're trying to be like a really strong product value on the shelf, and we know that we would just formulate with really costly, ingredients, or comparatively very costly. So we have talked about that. So we'll take it back.
So maybe sway the decision.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the people in the room. So, any other products that you guys would like to see?
I remember when you guys came back from the Napa trip, there was a mention of the pimple patches, and I think that was a really exciting thing. I don't know if that's like in discussion, but I definitely really like that idea.
Yeah, so were you on that team? I forget. The tea tree oil team, Team Tea Tree or something. I think that's what they named.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was basically, the idea was like creating reusable pimple patches with a formula on the side. We could totally do it, and we talked about it. The question that I have for you is like, it's actually impossible to have the same technology of like a pimple patch that pulls out something, right? Because you need it to be adhesive in order for the hydrochloride to work, So it's actually like we wouldn't be able to do that. But of course, you can apply a formula and apply like a silicone patch over it just to keep the formula there and like increase absorption. Is that interesting to you?
Yeah, I think both. I think especially also like educating people of being like,
you can't have it both ways. You kind of
Yeah,
need
yeah.
a product that does one over the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think having something that like, especially if it's like, I need an active ingredient that's not necessarily like hydrocolloid, that like just to stop me from picking.
Yeah.
That would be really helpful just to have something there, and like especially reusable,
Right.
like multifunction, like that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, and you don't think you'd lose them?
I think I would be okay with it, but I mean that's just like, that's the part of me that wants to believe that.
Yeah, because it would end up being, whatever, 12, 24. It's like, but they'd be reusable, so they'd be like the size of a dime or something, right? And then you'd wash it and then you'd put it back. I mean, it's not hard, like it's not like, like if I don't think I'd give my 4-year-old these, but they would be gone. But like I think it's easy to wash, right? So, but I don't think it would be able to stick the whole day. No, look, we tried all the materials, remember? All day if you're moving around. Yeah, especially if you have formula, because it's smaller surface area too, so it has less to hang on to. So it's like how long do you want? If you're 15 minutes. Trust me, we tried extensively this whole we went down this whole route of reusable patches all over your face. And the long story short is we're not doing any of them because they wouldn't stay on our face, or they were just totally unusable, or they would work for like 10 uses, and then by the 11th the adhesive is wearing off, and then you're paying for it, reusable. It's definitely a good thought, but it's how we execute it. I just talked to a patch vendor last week, actually, at a trade show, and he was like, "No, you can't do this in a reusable way." And I feel like, I don't know, there's so much on the market, but I think there are companies who do the acne patches that I'm sure they're going to develop more with more like active ingredients in them, and honestly, they don't have the philosophy of no single-use product, and they do millions and millions and millions of units of these, every year. So sometimes it's like, it's just not, I wish we could, but it might not be, the right fit for us.
Okay, so I was thinking, instead of the patches, how you have like germs and stuff on your pillow, and you have to sleep in a certain way so that way your face doesn't get all full of the germs. What if it's like a reusable mask that you could like just have it soak into your face, right? So that way you sleep with it, it just like kind of holds that, your moisturizer, whatever you've done for your skincare routine. And then that way it's not on your pillow. You can turn over, because I'm a stomach sleeper. So I like to sleep on my stomach. I like to put my head, and then I wake up and I see that there's sometimes, if I haven't washed my pillow in a couple of days, there is like, some sort of acne that's there, and I get frustrated. So it's like, what if I had something that was kind of barrier there that could cover it, and then, still breathe, obviously. So kind of like, people are wearing mouth tape. They're doing all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah, I know, it's so true. That's basically what we had tested. Don't tell me. No, I guess. We tested a mouth tape for, to put skincare underneath it. Because we were like, can you do a lip mask overnight with, like a mouth tape thing? And we tested it for, similar, right? Of this concept, which is can you have put serums underneath it and just get all this benefit while you're sleeping. And that's where we had a hard time with these reusable adhesives, because the adhesive would really quickly actually wear off. Yeah. Within 5, 6, 7, 8 uses. But they are obviously more expensive than single use. But the single use masks are so ridiculous. They're priced at $5 to $15 for a single use. And to me, that is just absolutely, I just think it's a waste of money, If you can do it in a reusable way, but the sleeping part, of course we could create a reusable thing, but like our eye patches, but the moment it's a sleeping thing, because people are, all over the place when they sleep. And then of course, if we're saying it overnight and then it doesn't work for somebody and sleeping, you know what I mean? People could get really mad about that, Yeah. So it's just hard to definitely get the reusability while guaranteeing that it's going to stay on at night, We're almost wrapping up, but I want to spend a little bit of time, maybe if you guys are down, to talk a little bit about our community efforts, because Veronica here went to Napa with us, but hopefully you've seen all of the community things that we did. Actually, last week we had a pretty disastrous day, probably the most disastrous day we've had in a little bit, where we were so excited. Our digital team worked for like a month plus, maybe 2 months, on this like community PR mailer program where we basically were gonna like drop a squiz and you DM us a word, we DM you a squiz. Anyways, we work with an external software to like be the DM partner for this. And anyways, it was a disaster. 9 a.m. hits and everybody's like, yes, we've tested, like everything's great. We're at 9 a.m. we post the keyword. And I go on our Instagram and TikTok and I start seeing like, just like, I can't even like look at just like, hundreds of DMs, like within like seconds. And it's just like, before I even like look to digest it, there's like 100 more. And then I'm like, oh my God, they're really coming in, which we expected because it's a free PR mailer, But then like a minute goes by, I'm like, where are the replies? And then there's some people really early on getting replies, but basically the PR mailer had sold out so quickly that like, so many people, even within 1.5 minutes, like people stopped getting replies. And the whole thing just like completely crashed and it was a disaster. And then we started seeing people getting really upset in the comments and we're like, this is like 2 minutes in. It ended up being totally fine. Like people are really understanding about it afterwards. But the point is that we're trying a lot of things when it comes to community this year, and the whole kind of ethos of bringing things that are typically only for influencers or only for celebrities to our community, and making that point that, it's not just the same people that you see going on the same trips from this brand to this brand to this brand, or the same people getting these like crazy lavish PR boxes that are showing up at people's doors. Trying to give more people those opportunities, especially those that support us with their dollars, support us with their time, whether it's like, actually paying for our products and being a long-time customer, or, posting about us and maybe not having a big following yet. Like we really want to support like other people in our community that are not getting those chances by the beauty industry right now. So I'm curious if you all have any feedback on what we've been doing, besides from our technical crash on Friday, or ideas of other things that you see, celebrities and influencers get that you're like, I think that would be cool to bring to community. Any thoughts overall?
So I do have a lot of thoughts because I am an influencer or whatever, so I am one of those people that get the crazy lavish PR boxes, and I will say like, I get so many and amazing, love all the products, but at the same time, they stop meaning something so quick. Because I'm like, there's only so many stories I can post. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not going to use all of these products right away. But seeing all of the community things that you guys have been doing, I'm like, this is so cool because these are people that actually care about the product. And if I have like a girlfriend that tells me, this lipstick is the best thing ever, I will buy that lipstick versus a girlie on TikTok shop that is telling me, buy this lipstick. I'm like, I know you got that for free. I know you're making 10% commission. I'm not buying it, because I am making 10% commission. Yeah. So I think like it's so refreshing seeing like you guys invest in the community, because I'm like, yeah, these are the people that care. These are the people that matter. And these are the people that are going to sell your product to their people, and like, I feel like when you fall in love with your brand, it's like ride or die. It's like, I'm buying all of the products from this brand. So yeah, I don't know if I have any thoughts on like what to do after. Actually, I do.
Yeah. I spoke to you.
No, so I would love to see a collab. Not necessarily with like an influencer, like big influencer, whatever. You can go mid-tier, but just go so niche. For example, there's this girlie here, like in the Bay, called House Chris, and she's so hardcore.
Wait, what is it? Wait, what? What is it? What does she do?
But I brought it up to
Maria,
because she is big into Diet Coke. And she became like actually part of Coca-Cola. She has like an actual employment within the company because she used to post so much about Coca-Cola, Diet Coke specifically. Yeah. And now she has like a machine in her apartment that they come and like refill it so she can have Coke on tap. But I was just mentioning it of like, if you love something a lot, you can actually make a career out of it. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because so House Chris, like Cocokind and House Chris are my 2 starred followers that I follow because she just is so good. Like she just is. Like she's a Bay Area creator. She's in San Francisco. She really just knows how to captivate her audience.
Yeah, I gotta check her out.
But I just
Everyone knows House Chris.
So,
Is it a Bay Area thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotta look at it.
But she's all over. Like my friends in Chicago know her too. But
yeah,
she is great. I'd love to see her collab.
Yeah. Wait, so what is she? But what is she? Is she's a creator?
Lifestyle creator.
Lifestyle
She
creator.
just loves Coca-Cola. Like
Yeah, that's her brand.
And I will say, I don't know her, but like a lot of my other creator friends know her, and she's a sweetheart. Like nobody has anything bad to say about her. But what I was gonna say is that if you guys do a collab for like, so her brand is Diet Coke or Coke Zero or something like that. If you come up with like a lipstick that's like cola flavor, something like that, that is so niche of something, I feel like that would blow up right away. So yeah.
Yes, we have. That's so interesting. First of all, I need to check out. You said House Chris? Okay.
I started following her. Thank you.
That's so. I mean, it's like so many people here know. So we'll definitely look at her stuff, especially if she's a Bay Area creator. I love that. And we definitely have so much planned for Lip and all the things coming up. So, like collabs and stuff. It's always. I feel like it's always been on our radar, and we've done collabs like. We did something recently with the absorption company, and I don't know. There's so many other companies that we in the past we've done, but like we over the next like 2 years, like we're really trying to do it up there. So like currently we're planning a lot of stuff. So something in those veins is coming. So don't worry. It'll come before. Hopefully ASAP. I'm trying not to, I'm very uncomfortable. Do you see? Like I got very uncomfortable when I had to hold something back. Like I don't even know what to do with myself. Maria's like, I'm so nervous. She's staring at me. She's staring at me. But okay, I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
So I had gone to the retinol launch where you were like partnering with some local like fitness studios and stuff, and I thought that was really fun. I think it was like, oh my god, the show Euphoria. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I feel like that was
Euphoria.
Really, yeah, I Euphoria RIP as well.
I know.
Yeah,
I love that place.
I know.
Bring him back.
I know, seriously. But I mean, that was really fun because I feel like again, like I'm from East Bay, so I don't really come into the city super often unless with other pre-existing plans and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to meet a bunch of other people who like love the brand, and then also get to explore like a local business and like explore that more.
Totally.
And like I still have that visor that we got at the event.
Yeah.
I always wear it on hikes, and it's just like it's nice to be like just like that little reminder of like the brand and also Euphoria and just like
part of the community.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Totally. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, doing more like local events is like definitely something that we want to do, and Euphoria is like such a great example of that. Yeah.
I have 2 things.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Cocokind conference. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I would have
loved
that.
Yeah.
So I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, building community means being in person with people and people that you want to get to know because they have a commonality.
Right.
And I felt so alive after the Napa trip because I felt like I left with not just people that I could bond with and talk to, but also because I felt more educated. I felt more that I was empowering other people that I knew and loved to be able to provide them with product. The amount of DMs that I get from my friends, which is like 2, but still enough. No, I'm kidding. No, I've gotten quite a few since that trip where they're asking me, what do I use? What do I do? And just even having something where I could go in person and, become this, like, not expert, but being there to be part of the community and then bringing that out to my community as well, I think would be so beneficial.
Yeah, totally.
The other piece that I loved was, I love that you did model, like the community model. I thought that was brilliant. I think having more real faces, real people, real customers behind those is what I attach to and what I see. And like, I know that, all these different cities are, going to different cities, going to small cities, going to places where people wouldn't get this opportunity normally, I think would be amazing. I don't know if you remember, like, America, or what was that show?
America's Next Top Model?
No. Back back in the day, the America's Funniest Home Video.
Oh, yeah.
When I was 2,
Right.
they came to my small town of like 28,000 people in Illinois.
Wow.
And I auditioned for it. But it was so fun. But like something like that where it's bringing back the nostalgia, but also bringing back that community feeling.
Right.
Of, hey, you matter
Yeah.
because you are beautiful. You
Right.
are who you are. And it doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. You are here and you're showing up and we're showing up for you.
Yeah.
Kind of mentality. So,
Period.
Period.
I love that. And you know, it's a good reminder for us to do more of the smaller cities because we want to so badly, but part of it is we're nervous that like nobody's going to show up because we have more of a community in the bigger, places, a customer community of just sheer numbers. But like we definitely have other cities that we need to go to, and there's so many people everywhere. And I know that like if we did something in like Chicago, probably people from like like a couple hours away would probably drive and come see us, even if it isn't in their exact place. But we do tend to do the same city, so we'll definitely keep that in mind and try to do just like we want to spread more of the love. And then for sure the conference thing, like we literally were talking about doing something like that next year. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Amazing. Well, I don't know if anybody has anything else that we want to chat about, but we got so much good stuff, a lot of good stuff from product to community and everything in between, and so appreciative of everybody being here. I should also mention before I forget that we are here in Modern Citizens Space, and they have this really cool den area. It's very intimate, and we want to do more like customer focused groups regularly, so maybe we'll be back here because truly in this time period we've learned so much and it's so helpful for us, and there's so many ideas. I'm sure there are going to be things that we bring to life, and then the other things that are constantly on our radar that we're trying to juggle and see, like, should we do this or this or this? But all of it is so important for us to hear, and really appreciate all of you being here today. This particular recording will resonate with a lot of our community, so thank you so much for being a part of it today.